I'm very tired. I'm just about to head to bed. When you live on the west side of the United States, you have to wake up very early to see the draw. For me, it was at 5 o'clock. Um, so yeah, very tired right now, but um, it remains the same. Manchester City is going to win the Champions League. Erling Haaland is going to win the Champions League. He's going to start out with a couple of titles right off the bat very quickly, just like Lionel Messi. Um, but I feel that we saw Ronaldo against Messi at Rome in 2009. And for me, just at some point, we do see Haaland against Mbappe. Haaland and Mbappe at Wembley would be superb, just like Ronaldo against Messi at the Olympico. I mean, it's just as big as it gets. Uh, for me, I completely understand the narratives for Barcelona and Gundogan and what have you. If UEFA wanted Inter to go to the final to help out the club financially, this is a very good question. Do they want Barcelona to go to the final to help out with their financial situation? Because obviously they helped out Inter by having it make the Champions League final to collect all of the TV and commercial money that came with making it to the Champions League final. So it remains a very interesting theory. But I believe that Messi is immortalized, and thus Barca cannot make the final uh, for quite some time without Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi, for me, has to be immortalized in every way possible. Being sent down to the Europa League did the trick. Napoli were not very good in the Campionato this year in the Serie A. And Sociedad were a really good team. They drew twice against Inter, so Sociedad are no slouches at all. If they drew twice against Inter and PSG handled Sociedad with ease, PSG are going to be very tough to beat for Barcelona. But for me, if Atletico makes it to the final, they would have to win it. For me, Atletico has to be 1-3 in the Champions League final to win. They made a final in the 70s, and obviously they've lost two finals with Diego Simeone. So for me, um, that's what would have to happen. If Atletico make it to the final, they're winning the Champions League. So I completely understand. Gundogan has played many cup finals at Wembley, as a member of Manchester City, whether we're talking about the Community Shield or the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup. Gundogan has got experience at Wembley playing these cup games with Manchester City. So, again, Barcelona is very interesting, but I think we think we can keep it simple. I mean, passing the torch from Ronaldo to Messi to Haaland against Mbappe in the Champions League battle. And let's consider this: if Mbappe loses at Wembley, then Mbappe can avenge his final loss in the Euro 2028, which will be held at the British Isles. Wales, Northern Ireland, England. That's where the Euro 2028 is. And basically, Zidane is going to take over France, and Zidane is going to absolutely win something of magnificent magnitude. And for me, he will win multiple competitions. But I wanted to stick with the main topic of the video. is that basically the narrative? We already know what would happen against Bayern because they battered Bayern. What was it, 3-0 in the first leg, and I think they won 2-1 or something in the second leg. Let me check quickly. Let me check. Man City Bayern would just be boring because we already know what happens. But then Bayern have always lost to Real Madrid, so there's a Bayern revenge against Real Madrid narrative, obviously. But you think about commercialization of Messi and Ronaldo throughout the past 15 years. For me, UEFA would like to commercialize Mbappe and Haaland to kind of move away from Messi and Ronaldo. Is how I look at it. I don't get it that Barcelona are big. They have fans across the world, but there's no one superstar on Barcelona that is going to be the best as far as commercialization goes, and that's the strength. The That is the strength of Kylian Mbappe. Now, if Holland is number 9, if there are 9 prior repeats in the history of the Champions League, does the next one occur for Enrique to make his next Champions League final 9 years later? Last year I nailed uh, the script for Inter to make the final. There was never going to be any AC Milan in the final because Kalinoglu is Turkish. Kalinoglu is a Turkish player. He missed out on Scudetto for Milan, but he did defeat Milan in the semifinal to make it to the final of his home country. He's Turkish German, but nonetheless, his parents were born at Turkey, and he did make it to Turkey. And Roberto Mancini, he also managed at Turkey right after he left Manchester City. He helped win the Premier League for Man City, and here he was with Inter making it to a Champions League final. So this is what we're gonna do again: is to identify uh, the storylines for the final of the UEFA Champions League. This is what we are going to do right here. Just Real Madrid will have they need Mbappe to beat Man City is what the narrative is going to be. They will need Mbappe to beat Manchester City. Now, anything can happen because you're so familiar with teams domestically that basically Napoli and Milan were familiar with each other. And so Milan, they soaked up the pressure. Napoli had, very big missed chances, and the teams are familiar with each other. There's going to be no mystery whatsoever if you have Arsenal and Man City. And City have lost against Chelsea in the final. They've lost against Liverpool in the quarterfinals. They've lost against Tottenham in the quarterfinals. The narrative will be is that Arsenal can make it to the final, to make it to London, where they reside right now. I mean, it does make sense, that Arsenal, death of the Queen. Can they win the Champions League? Blah, blah, blah. If City beat Arsenal at the Etihad, is this going to be revenge for Arsenal? So many people are going to speak about that if we do see Arsenal and Man City in the semifinals. But if Arsenal defeat Bayern, then we will be talking about Arsenal as an elite side in Europe. And that's basically what would happen. If they defeat Bayern, and Arsenal may or may not take the place of Bayern for years to come. But that's basically what would happen. I mean, Bayern lost to Lazio, so then they struggled against Porto, but it's just going to bring in a lot of money. Arsenal fans in Africa, people hate Man City. They're a polarizing team. For me, Pep wins the Champions League. His apprentice makes it to the semifinal of his first Champions League. This would be a very intriguing matchup, to say the least. But are Arsenal going to defeat Man City? No, I believe not. As a matter of fact, I believe City are going to beat Arsenal in both instances. Arsenal defeat them in the league. This thing could go to penalties, it could go to extra time. Be my guest. Arsenal will not be afraid of Man City. Arsenal are going to basically the first match between these two teams. Arsenal are going to, it's not parking the bus because they did outshoot Man City in the first game. But basically, what Arsenal did is they limited the spaces. They were playing very defensive, but they're not playing everybody back in the box. But they did make it very hard for Man City to get shots on goal. And Arsenal are going to keep this thing close if they're up 1-0. If they are trailing 1-0 after the first leg, or nick a goal, something like that, 2-1, 1-1. That's kind of what we may see, although I don't know. But based off Arteta's game plan, in the first game there, I believe it is inevitable. The Etihad is just going to be a hunted ground for Arsenal, and then this could lead up to the narration for the next Premier League. I am absolutely convinced City are going to play for the treble. And I, again, believe Man City are going to go through and make it to the final. They will beat Real Madrid. So let's start with the gematria of Wembley. And I will mention Atletico because there's a reason why they got a very easy draw. Because Atletico is gematria of Wembley. So they'll say, hey, is there a narration for them to make it to Wembley? Well, the answer would have to be yes, because they're on a very easy side of the bracket. But then again, Paris Saint-Germain is gematria of 85. But back to my point again with Real Madrid. Real Madrid, gematria of 31. Madrid, City will be 3-1 in knockouts versus Real. So Real Madrid have no chance of advancing, but Real Madrid will conquer Europe with Mbappe. So I'll give you that. They'll conquer Europe with Mbappe, but they will lose to Man City this year. So maybe it's going to take Mbappe to defeat Manchester City. Now, does this mean that they will not face off against each other this year? Although it would be pretty remarkable if Mbappe loses the final, but then to beat the invincible machine, Real Madrid have to become an invincible machine with Mbappe. Man City, too invincible. Real Madrid just need Mbappe, and then Real Madrid and Mbappe is the chosen heir to dethrone Manchester City. No, I'm very big on 13 and the Freemasons. When Ronaldo won the three-peat, he did so for Real Madrid's 13th Champions League title. Madrid starts with the 13th letter. For me, when Atletico ultimately, as the best team to have never have won a Champions League, they will have to be 1-3 in the final when it's all said and done. So for me, I don't believe Atletico Madrid are going to make it to the final this year. Although Atletico is going to match up Man City, so Atletico to make it to the semifinal, nobody is going to really give Dortmund a chance, which is okay. But the script writers, they've got narrations lined up through Gematria. Paris Saint-Germain, 85. Man City is exact Gematria is Wembley. Erling Haaland is Gematria of 61, and June the 1st is the 6th month in the first day. So remember, Erling Haaland, 61. The Champions League final is on June the 1st. So Arsenal and Man City are going to face off in the semifinal, I believe. But Pep is going to end the jinx of he can't beat the Premier League in the UEFA Champions League. Helps that Arsenal are first-time experience, but what gives Arsenal some juice in the narrative is that by beating Bayern Munich, they will say that are Arsenal among the elite in Europe. Bayern are in decline, yes. But could Arsenal handle Real Madrid? Maybe in future years when they gain more experience and they just get deeper at every position. But today, they cannot beat Real Madrid, Arsenal. They cannot. Not until they get the experience. But Bayern are clearly in free fall, which is what gives Arsenal an advantage entering the semifinal of the UEFA Champions League. I mean, Man City, Bayern, it's just, it doesn't bring in the hype, it just doesn't bring in the hype. But Man City got to beat Real Madrid, and Real Madrid can't, they will only say, well, they got lucky. They got the two late goals there. That was the only time Real Madrid defeat Man City in these four ties that the teams played against each other. But this is turning out to be a great rivalry. It will be a great rivalry once Mbappe gets a crack at. Mbappe didn't play against Manchester City in the semifinal. Remember, he was hurt, so he missed the second leg. So Mbappe was not fully fit against Man City a few years ago. For me, it will have to come down to the two best stars in the game playing in the final. For me, history has done so already. Messi won his second Champions League title against Ronaldo, and I believe the same can happen for Haaland against Kylian Mbappe. Messi takes the glory internationally and in the World Cup, but it's a little different because Haaland doesn't play for an elite European country. Yes, he's got Odegaard and all of that, but he doesn't play for France. So Mbappe will obviously he's going to win the champions. And by the way, when I made the video for the World Cup in 2030, I had someone say that there's no chance that can happen. Messi will be surpassed as the GOAT. Well, Messi, if Mbappe wins 2 Champions Leagues, he still will not be the GOAT because it's about how you are as a player. Messi can play forward and drift back and play midfield and make passes like a midfielder. Mbappe can't. Even if Mbappe wins another World Cup, he plays with a rich load of talent. Lots of players were hurt. Conte and Pogba and some other guys were hurt. It didn't make a difference. And N'Golo Conte was hurt. It didn't make a difference. They were still very close to winning the World Cup. So France has too much talent. But the talent in the midfield with the Real Madrid guy, Camavinga, is going to feed the passes to Mbappe. So Mbappe just really has to wait for the ball to come his way. Messi, he has to create. He has to link up for the build-up play. Even if Mbappe wins a second World Cup, Messi is always the GOAT because he not only scores as a forward, he has to go back and create in the midfield. We will never, ever, ever see another player like Messi. But we will always see poachers like Ronaldo and Mbappe and Haaland. And no disrespect to their talent, but Messi is a alien, as Buffon called Messi, an alien, and he is a rare breed. And we will never, ever see another player of Lionel Messi's skill set again. But he won 3 World Cups, Pele. Does that mean he's always automatically the GOAT over Lionel Messi? I don't think we're ruling out Messi for the GOAT based on World Cups alone. And because we say Messi is greater than Pele, even if he has less World Cups, we should not anoint Mbappe the GOAT over Messi, even if he wins the World Cup in 2030. But I believe there's a grand story. There's Zinedine Zidane leaving his mark in the game of football. He left his mark for Real Madrid, and now there was another chapter to Real Madrid as coach instead of player. And ditto, he left his mark as a player, making 2 finals, winning the Euro with France, and now he's going to have to manage his country the trophies as he did for his club, Real Madrid. Off the easy, you're right. Ronaldo fans are delusional. They really think he has a chance of winning the World Cup. Oh my God! They only in their wildest dreams are they delusional. Ronaldo fans delusional. They were broken. They were crippled. Merry Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas, Ronaldo fans. Merry Christmas. It ain't happening. He's crying. He knew it was over. He's washed up in a in a Camel League. Ronaldo win a trophy in a Camel League. These defenders, these goalkeepers, they're a joke in Saudi Arabia. What a joke. Messi's a goat. He's going to win the CONCACAF Champions League. He's going to win the MLS. He's going to win the Copa America. If he wants to play in the Olympics, you'll be one very tired guy if he wins CONCACAF Champions League and the Copa America. But if he decides to play the Olympics, and then that's just Another trophy. And he may not win. He may not even play in the Olympics. That's going to be a stretch. But if Messi wants to, then he will be a part of. Goalkeeper LeBron James, he's going to be part of the Olympics for the USA men's basketball team. Messi, I believe he will play in the Olympics. I believe. But if he doesn't, then this will give a chance for Mbappe to win Olympic gold at Paris. Does your friend really think Ronaldo is going to win the World Cup because of the Simpsons? Man, Mexico and Portugal. Oh, Ronaldo's going to win because the Simpsons says they're going to win the World Cup. Oh my God, they're delusional. He has not even scored a knockout goal in the World Cup, Pinato. He's overrated. His team got knocked out of the group stage at Barcelona in 2014. I mean, oh my Lord, Pinato fans are delusional. God, they're delusional. The great Pinato. What a joke. What a joke. This is a joke. Is Pinato a joke?
Compare to Messi. Yeah.
He can't even win a trophy in the Campbell League. Arsenal to go through against Bayern again. Bayern 79th loss in the Champions League to Arsenal FC. Pretty much Arsenal are going to win. Now, I think I may do this for the Europa League and the Champions League combined, but I don't talk about betting much. I just like to what's the script? What's the script? And just leave all that stuff in the outside. Well, I'd be shocked if Steph Curry doesn't play tomorrow. If he does, the Warriors are going to win their 18th game against the West. The narrative can't be in goalkeeper LeBron's favor. He's got to be the underdog. So the Warriors will win. People will discount the Lakers. They'll travel to San Francisco because it's Chase Arena, trying to chase Michael Jordan. Chase is Camacho of 18 wins in the playoffs. Bill Russell played college ball at San Francisco. We all know the significance as far as Celtics Lakers goes and him being drafted in 56 out of San Francisco Dons. So Bill Russell playing college ball at San Francisco is why goalkeeper LeBron has to travel to San Francisco. Zero chat. Suns Bucks for next year. Get in your head. It happened in this year. It happened in next year. Remember, Suns and Kevin is Gematria 25. That's simple Gematria. Bucks won't make it, but they'll make it next year. It's another off season to address areas of weaknesses. If you're going to look at it from that lens. Devin Durant, Devin Booker. Interesting. But this stream is about soccer because obviously I'm going to calm everybody down tomorrow when I talk about the Lakers. Everyone's going to be all anal, very tipsy, freaking out. Oh, it's over. I mean, they easily beat the Kings. We beat 9 out of top 10 tough teams. The teams that the Lakers didn't beat, those are the teams they're going to beat. They're beating the Nuggets. They're beating the Kings in the play-in because obviously the loser Phoenix Suns are going to finish ahead of the Sacramento Kings. Yes, we can lose to the Warriors. We don't need to win that game. It is virtually meaningless. You can calm down. You can relax. Everyone's going to bet on the Warriors, and Las Vegas can be very happy. So, business as usual. They're mocking the masses with the Warriors' 18th win against the West. They're mocking the masses. They're not. They don't look at things the way we look at it over here. This is why they lost against the Kings. Because, Anthony Davis can't beat Sabonis. 0 for 10. Oh, my God. Late guys, they can't beat the Kings. They can't beat the Kings. The media will regurgitate that talking point every single minute of the hour after April the 14th. People fall for mind control. They're just going to listen to what the media says. And then if the media keeps on repeating it, then in the average person's head, it's just going to resonate in the mind as fact. So the psychology is going to be strong in this one. But I have diagnosed the game. It was 50-50, and Lakers didn't try for 2 minutes. So the Kings, they went on they increased the deficit by 8 or 9 points across the first 2 minutes of the third quarter. It only took 2 minutes to rig the basketball game, and this is how you do it. I mean, I don't know, man. This seems crazy, but some white dude from Europe beats him 10 straight times. I mean, I find that hard to believe. I do. Sabonis is a great player. He's a baller. He's talented. But to beat Anthony Davis 10 straight times, I mean, I don't think by random probability being left up to chance would that be possible. There's got to be some outside force scripting it to where he doesn't beat you. If you're up to chance, even if AD sucked and he was 30% win success rate against the bonus, but to not even win a single time and you're freaking Anthony Davis in 10 times, there's some outside influence behind it, absolutely. But I'm going to calm everybody down tomorrow because they're going to be expecting a Lakers win. They'll bet money on the game. True. Just they will. They'll bet money on the game. And when they lose, they'll be freaking out. I don't know. How many 3-pointers is D'Angelo Russell away from breaking the regular season Lakers record? Because it seems like every time the Lakers set a milestone, when it's GOAT King LeBron James, for example, I mean, every time they set a a milestone, they always tend to lose. What? Tell me. Okay, 183 triples. Fan Exo. How many threes does D'Angelo Russell have for the year? I mean, it's team win the championship. If you're breaking the single season record for 3-pointers in a year, that is a crafty, sexy left-handed stroke. A sharpshooter. Sharpshooter. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. His next start would be a 56 start against the Warriors. 3-pointers for the year. He's at 174, so he's 9 3-pointers away from the record, from the single season record. Is he going to make 9 3-pointers against the Warriors? Well, he made 9 3-pointers against the Bucks. This was his best game of the year. One other time he did hit 8 3-pointers. It was a win over the Bulls, January the 25th. Very unlikely he breaks the Lakers single season record against his former team. You'll just have to wait. He would enter the next game with 56 starts to the season to his name. I'm very glad they didn't trade Bill Russell, D'Angelo Russell, Lakers Celtics. It's too easy, right? It's too easy. There's no reason why we all cannot enjoy the NBA Finals without worrying about your bet. Uh, if you do it correctly, then that's exactly how it should be. Just do the Lakers and the Celtics to win the conference if you're being smart and pragmatic. And then you're not all sweating your balls off right as we get to the heat of summer and all freaking out because the Celtics are ahead of the Lakers. Don't be that person. Be the person that cashes in at the end of May. That's the best way to go about this from a mental perspective, from a pragmatic perspective. I mean, Lakers just have to win the conference and no one's beating the Celtics. For me, it's that easy. Arsenal have the second highest odds to win the Champions League. I mean, they have better odds to win the Champions League than Real Madrid. Where the hell is that coming from? Uganda or Kenya, whatever. All these Arsenal fans there, man. They're crazy. They're crazy. Atletico Madrid are not making the final. For me, Messi has to be immortalized. So by the process of elimination, Holland against Mbappe. Holland against Mbappe. If Holland leaves, he may go to Barcelona. I hope he goes to Juventus, but he'll probably go to Barcelona. But he did say he wanted to play in every league. He's played in Bundesliga. He played in the Premier League. I hope Juventus can sign Haaland someday. They tried to sign Haaland. I guess the price wasn't right from the Pepe Marotta. But as long if he wants to play for Italy, he better sign for Juventus. I tell you, he better sign for Juventus. So if he goes to Spain, he's got to play for Barcelona. Pep Guardiola, he knows. Pep Guardiola will want to tell this guy, you should play for Barcelona. You should play for Barcelona. I believe Pep will influence Haaland to play for Barcelona. And then Barcelona have to move on from Lewandowski at some point, right? At some point in time. If Barcelona lose in Europe, they got to go all in on Erling Haaland. Especially when the trials begin in the autumn, in the fall. The trials that could see Man City being handed a point deduction and could see Pep Guardiola leave the club. I believe we are at the climax of Manchester City. But Haaland is number 9. We do see 9 seasons of Pep Guardiola at Manchester. The 9th season at Manchester is going to be rough, but he will not have to go through any stress at all because in his mind, he's already decided, I'm going to go on a new endeavor, whether it be an international coaching job or whether it be coaching for Barcelona. He could go to Barcelona and bring Haaland with him. Guardiola needs a challenge. Who the hell is going to beat Real Madrid with Mbappe? I believe that's what the GOAT manager must do. I believe. Let's check out the comments here. Some people like to be fans, so they will not try to objectively try to predict the Champions League. I'm biased for Real Madrid, says Asian, JK and KK. We will advance. I mean, Real Madrid fans are spoiled. These guys, they taste the Champions League title every other season. I live and dream for Juventus to win the Champions League, and I saw them in the final. I saw them when I was 19 in the final against Barcelona. It could be a long time till I see Juventus win the Champions League. When I'm in 30s, in my 40s, I mean, these people, these Real Madrid fans, I mean, they shouldn't cry anytime they lose in Europe. I can tell you that. Ever since I started watching football, no, Real Madrid have won the Champions League 4 times. 4 times. Well, I've watched international soccer, for years, but then I got in the club in 2014, 2015. I want to know which club had Giorgio Chiellini, who got bitten by Suarez. Which team has Gianluigi Buffon? It didn't come down to trophies or dominating the Scudetto. It came down to who does Gianluigi Buffon play for? Who does Andrea Pirlo play for? Who does Marchisio play for? Who does Barzagli play for? And Chiellini. All the heroes of the national team, the ones that made the Euro in 2012 against Spain, they were Juventini. And then it was the wall of Bonucci and Chiellini that won the Euro with the help of the great young Gianluigi. But I will speak about my World Cup prediction for the 2030 and the 2034. I mean, let's face it, that well, I will pause. I will stop right there. I will begin a new stream because the World Cup prediction in the future, it's going to have people obsessed, and I will just leave my insight on that just a very quick second here.